The Skywalker story was supposed to end with balance. Anakin falls, Luke wins, the Empire burns. On paper, that's closure. But families don't end when wars do. The name Skywalker didn't get lighter after victory. It got heavier, because once a family becomes myth, the children don't get childhood. They get expectation. Ben wasn't born bad. He was born into a story that had already decided what balance should look like. And eventually, someone inside that story pushes back. Most people simplify it. Luke sees darkness, Ben wakes up to a lightsaber, Temple burns, Kylo Ren is born. End of story. Clean. Easy to explain. But that version flattens him. Canon never treats Ben as purely Jedi or purely Sith. He's not one or the other. He's pulled in both directions at once, raised by the light, drawn toward the shadow, trying to destroy the past, and still tangled in it. So maybe the better question isn't, why did he turn? Maybe it's this. Why did Ben Solo feel like he needed to stop being Ben Solo at all? Start with the weight on his shoulders. Ben is born to Leia and Han on Chandrila, into a galaxy that hasn't stopped telling the Skywalker story since Endor. He isn't just a child. He's the heir to a legend, the nephew of the last Jedi, the grandson of the Chosen One. That name carried expectation. It pressed on him. That's not a vibe. That's a cage, with a family name carved into the bars. Snoke becomes the answer Ben is offered. He doesn't tempt with glory. He studies him. He sees the insecurity, the doubt, the sense of being miscast in his own story. Snoke positions himself as the one who understands. Not just a master, someone who can explain why Ben feels wrong inside his own life. This isn't temptation through pleasure. It's temptation through interpretation. Power is secondary. Meaning is the real hook. Luke tries to solve the problem the old way. Training. He takes Ben as an apprentice. They travel. They search ancient texts. The temple grows. More students arrive. From the outside, it looks like restoration. But the cracks are already there. Luke's attention divides. Ben's curiosity drifts into darker corners of the Force. And over time, small misreads start to stack. Not one mistake. Not one night. Years. A slow accumulation of misunderstandings. Then comes the night everyone argues about. The temple is already burning. 3 students return from an off-world mission. They can't sense Luke. They find Ben in the wreckage, and Ben tells them what he believes happened. Luke came into his hut, ignited a lightsaber. For a moment, considered ending him. That's Ben's version. The canon tension isn't about who lied. It's about how fast fear moves. Faster than context. Faster than regret. Faster than explanation. The next misconception is that Ben burned the temple because he hated the Jedi. But he doesn't give a manifesto. He gives a verdict. This place was a lie. When they try to stop him, he doesn't argue philosophy. He insists he's leaving. And when sabers ignite, something inside him hardens. None of you are Jedi. That line isn't just anger. It's identity collapsing. If the Order misread him, then maybe the Order itself was wrong. That's the fracture. This is the hinge. Kylo Ren isn't born as a Sith title. He builds it. Ben Solo feels like the wrong shape inside his own life. Kylo is the armor that fits. He tells himself he's carrying on Vader's legacy, but his understanding of Anakin is warped, filtered through a mentor who benefits from that distortion. And the cost shows quickly. The more powerful he becomes, the more isolated he is. Not feared, not fulfilled, just alone. Kylo isn't freedom from legacy. Kylo is what legacy turns into when it becomes unbearable. So when The Force Awakens begins, Kylo isn't calm because he's certain. He's calm because he's armored. Snoke tells him a test is coming, and the test...
in the hands of your father.
It's his father. On Starkiller Base, Han reaches for his son. Kylo kills him. He expects clarity, strength, relief. Instead, he feels weaker. That's not a side detail. That's the thesis cracking. Because if cutting the past loose doesn't make you whole, then the armor isn't working. Rey defeats him not because she's fully trained, but because Kylo is split. He fights like someone divided. He talks about letting the past die, but he cannot. That fracture widens. He can't fire on Leia. He kills Snoke, declares himself supreme leader, and for a moment, it looks like autonomy. But power without identity is just a louder cage. He didn't escape legacy. He inherited it in a different costume. Then Luke returns, not to punish, to apologize, to admit failure, to stand there without striking first. It's the opposite of the Night in the Hut, and Kylo still tries to destroy him. But the lesson isn't about deception, it's about restraint. Luke chooses protection over retaliation. That was the path Ben could have had. Strength without erasure, legacy without violence. Then the final illusion breaks. Palpatine didn't just influence events, he engineered them. Snoke wasn't spontaneous. Kylo's rebellion was curated. The freedom he thought he seized was a leash he mistook for a crown. That's the deepest cruelty. He believed he was breaking the story. He was still inside it. Then comes the dyad. Not Force Skype, something rarer. A bond that links perception, power, even matter itself. Rey and Ben are not opposites. They're reflections. The bond doesn't tempt them with dominance. It forces them to see each other clearly. For the first time in his life, Ben is understood without being interpreted for him. That changes the equation. On Kef Bir, the theory becomes choice. Leia reaches for her son. The effort costs her everything. Rey strikes him down, then heals him. And Ben gets the conversation he never finished. Han, not accusing, not demanding, just present. Ben throws the red blade into the sea, not because someone commands him, because he finally chooses. And that's the first free decision he's made in the entire saga. From there, Ben doesn't get a long redemption tour. He gets one final choice. He rushes to Exegol and fights beside Rey. Palpatine tries to drain their bond to restore himself. Rey destroys him and collapses. Ben gives his life to bring her back. It echoes Anakin, but it isn't the same. Anakin saves someone out of fear of losing them. Ben saves someone after finally choosing who he is. And when he dies, Leia's presence lingers. Only after her son is gone does she fade into the Force. Ben's last inheritance isn't Vader. It's Leia's reach. So what did we misunderstand? That Ben's story begins and ends with a lightsaber raised in the dark? But canon keeps pointing somewhere else. Years of pressure, isolation, and a mentor who offered him meaning, shaped out of fear. And what is his future? In strict canon, he dies on Exegol, but death isn't erasure in this saga. Leia carries him into the cosmic force, and the lesson he leaves behind is simpler than prophecy. No one can save Ben but himself. Inheritance gave him a name. He had to decide what to do with it.